everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. I'm going to be doing a reading today that's going to be a mediumship reading to talk to heaven and talk to your ancestors. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed, then I encourage you to do that so that you can stay up to date with all the new readings that I'm going to be putting out. All right, so these are some generic messages that are coming from the dead. I'm using a Doreen Virtue deck called Talking to Heaven. And I'm just going to pull a couple of cards. Let's see what comes through. Okay, so this first card. It says, "My death was painless. Please don't worry or hold on to guilt." So again, with these messages, they are generalized for the collective. And so if you do feel like one of these messages are for you, then that's great. And if not, then that's okay too. Don't dog it or anything. Just let it be, because it may be information that somebody else needs to hear. Okay, so pick up whatever resonates with you and then drop whatever doesn't. So, my death was painless. Please don't worry and hold on to guilt. This has been something that I feel like has been on somebody's mind for a really long time. This is confirmation from the other side that you don't need to hold on to guilt anymore. I was getting this feeling with this card, the name Rick or Ricky. So there may be a Rick or Ricky that is really holding on to guilt. A Richard, yeah, that's really holding on to guilt over this situation. So that message is for you. The next one. We are soulmates. So I do feel like this one is for someone that's named Shuri. And this is a confirmation that from the other side that person that crossed over is and was actually your soulmate. So this is confirmation. I'm also getting a Jenny and an Andrew that are going through this exact experience. All right, so I just tried to grab one and grabbed three. Okay, so we're going to do this one first. This one is, I see all your thoughts. So, I see all your thoughts. So, if you've been, when people cross over and they go to the other side, we think that we're totally cut off from them and that they have no idea what's going on in this realm. And they just, that's just not true. They see all your thoughts. So if you've been thinking and praying, I specifically get thinking and praying to your one that's crossed over, deceased, know that they are seeing what you're going through. I do feel like for this card that what it means is that the person that crossed over for you, you'll know if this is for you, is around you a lot, and they've actually taken on the role of being like a spirit guide for you for the rest of this life, or like a guardian angel, that type of energy, somebody that wants to help. And so, there is no time where I am. Time is only on earth. So this is another thing that's like really important to remember when you're wanting to connect with your deceased loved one, is that they are in a higher state of consciousness. They're, I mean, it's hard to explain, but they have the ability to be in different places at different times and to travel and to go in between, to come visit. I call them visitations. And so wanting to remind you, if you're grieving, that it's only going to be for a time, and time is something that is bound to earth, okay? And so knowing that it's easier to kind of just release that belief system, which is really, really, time is very toxic uh, because it's not real. So they want you to know that there is no time where they are, okay? And there is no such thing as death. Okay? So we call it death, but they didn't die. They didn't die. They're still alive. They're just somewhere else. And I do feel like this message is for somebody named Joshua who's really struggling with the fear of death right now. I was also picking up an Alicia and a Kyle that is struggling with the concept of death because they've lost somebody, and I think that it has been recent. I also got Raymond, also somebody that has lost somebody recently. I was just saying this. Next card is, as a soul, I can be in several places at once. So they want you to know that they're with you. They're protecting you. And everywhere you go, they're also protecting your children. Okay, the unicorn energy is purity and it's blessings, it's magical healing, and especially healing from grief and sadness. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle again, see what other things. I did feel an overwhelming grandmother presence that was speaking to me collectively through like the grandmother archetype. And she was saying that it's kind of like your grandmother who's passed on wants you to understand the importance of how people treat and see their grandmother, and then how people treat and see the earth, which is our grandmother, and the connection between the two as an archetype, as an archetype that everybody's going to have to deal with, because everybody's going to have a grandmother that is going to pass, and so you are never alone. This card, you're never alone. Which is true, literally. Once a family member decides to stick around, and after they've gone to the light and they come back, like, you are never alone. Really, truly, they are with you. Okay, so this is a confirmation for somebody. I always give you a good night kiss. I feel like somebody's husband that's passed on is doing this. I feel like somebody's mother that's passed on is doing this for a child. It's beautiful. They want you to know, I am learning over here that there's a greater purpose for them. They want you to know that they're training for something big. And this is great because this is your ancestry. This is your lineage. If you're watching this video, this is for you. Okay, so this one, now I know for a lot of people that when they lose somebody to a disease, a lot of the times when they pass, the way that they looked, the way that they felt, how the disease took over, that's kind of like a trauma imprint into the brain. And so this is the other side. For those of you who did lose somebody, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's never fun to lose to death. I mean, and it's natural, it's supernatural, but I feel for you. So they want you to know that I feel healthy and happy. They're not like in the same. And now I'm not saying that your deceased loved one has everything worked out and is totally perfect all of a sudden, but they are no longer burdened by what the burdens were that were taking them out in this life, and they want you to know that so that you're not burdened, so that you can release that same burden if you're holding on to that. The whole part of this message was that the living care so much, they worry so much about the dead, and the dead right now are talking. They're talking a lot. The ancestors, they're all talking, and they're not going to shut up. Like, and before the age of Aquarius, we're now in the age of Aquarius. Before that started, they could have been silenced by something, but now they're not going to shut up, and they want everybody to know these truths. You know, there is no such thing as death. There is no such thing as time. My death was painless. Please don't worry or hold on to the guilt. I'm getting a message from Archangel Azrael right now that for whoever this is for, you being there and holding the hand of your loved one as they died, you being the one that was there, this was something that was fated to happen. Like, and they're so thankful. They're so thankful that you were the one to be there when they passed. They're so, I mean, really, they're so thankful. And it is fulfilling like some type of soul contract, because they've done that for you before in another life. And so now it's kind of filling, just finishing out the cycle. But uh you know, they feel sorry that it burdened you with trauma, some of you. But they want to know that they don't hold anything, especially if you had to pull the plug on anybody. They don't hold any type of, there's no bad feelings. There's only love. There's only love. And that comes from, you know, they have the ability to see into your thoughts and see that you're such, that you struggled with that. I mean, like, they never wanted you to have to go through that, but they're glad that it was you that was there for them and not somebody else, because they're learning. Your dead loved ones are learning where they're at. So it's not, nothing was, their death wasn't in vain. I am sorry. Please forgive me. This is because the dead hold on to such guilt. And how this affects the living is it will keep your deceased loved one through a cord, negative attachment, attached to you. Because there's still stuff to be worked out. There's still karma to go through. There's still things that haven't been said. So I'm sorry. This is I'm just hearing them screaming, you know, I'm sorry, please forgive me. This is your ancestors being sorry that you had to go through what you went through, and then the deceased loved ones, I'm sorry that I was an alcoholic. I'm sorry that I abused you. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry that I abandoned you. I'm sorry that I didn't show you that I loved you. I'm sorry that I wasn't there. Like, these are all really strong messages coming through for somebody. They're very, very repentive because they see now, they see how important that you were to them. You know, soul family, soul tribe. They want you to know that you're never alone. And they're doing things on your behalf to help you. That's why they're going through this learning. All right. They want you to know, out of everything that they've taught you, and I know that the words are backwards, so, but just look at the picture. Life is a choice. Life is a series of choice. So choose love. Every time that you choose love, you're going to win, no matter what it is. And that's what's going to break. If you have a deceased loved one or a friend or somebody around you that you feel connected to because you still have some karma or something to work out with them, choose love, because this is going to break that negative bond, that, you know, trauma bond, basically. This is going to break that and separate that. So choose love, because that's the highest frequency. It beats all things. And, all right, I'm being told to pull another one. I'm like, how many pull? Okay, this is one that's really, really important, because of when you take care of somebody that until they die, okay, you go through a process that is very traumatizing, and you start to see the person differently. And so they want you to remember me by the happy memories that we created. You know, these are the things that mattered and were important to them, was the happy things that you guys created together. So don't think about how they died and you missing them. Remember the happy memories that you guys created, because you holding on to your memory of this deceased loved one, that's more important than gold right there. That's more important than gold. So I was feeling like that there are a lot of people that have been losing people recently, and that are about to lose people. So I hate to say that, but I felt something a while ago, and I feel a lot of death coming. Not to scare you guys, but it just in general for the world. Okay, it's not your fault. Whatever you're blaming yourself for about this person that's crossed over, it's not your fault. Don't. Everybody makes their own choices. They're the ones responsible for their realities. Nobody else's. Okay, it is not your fault. Really, it's not your fault. And this is also somebody, tears cleanse the soul. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. There's no amount of time that says, okay, this is how long you're allowed to grieve. That, no. Like, no. Okay? It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be grieving. It's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotions. It's okay to go through a natural process that you're going to have to go through every time you lose somebody. It's okay. It's okay. Spirit wants you to know it's okay to grieve for them. Because once you do that, you're going to come out of that and you'll feel so much more closer to them. So I am so much better now. They want you to know that them not being here, they're having a blast, because they're not tied to their body that was giving them problems and the whole perspective. They want you to know that they're better now where they are. And I do feel that, because there's so much divinity. So I was feeling like that there's a lot of Native American ancestors that are coming forward and wanting to speak to people, because there's some type of prophecy that's about to be fulfilled about some type of ceremonies that need to stop or something like that. And so, yeah, I was hearing a lot of them talk about these ceremonies, but I don't know enough about them to really say anything other than I do feel that there's a lot of Native American ancestors coming forward. I mean, the ancestors are really, I've never seen them as active as they are right now, as far as protecting people and the it's like the veil was thin at Halloween time, but it never changed for some reason. It didn't really seem to, it stayed thin. And so that's why a lot of you are seeing things when you look out your windows. You're seeing things when you look at stuff, because the veil's just really thin. So I hope that this video helped, And I hope that the rest of you, whoever is watching this, has a wonderful day and gets their own validation. I invite the Most High God, Spirit, Source into the situation to give you the purest messages that you can receive through dreams, through however you receive messages and confirmation of what the information you received today. And I pray for your well-being and for the well-being of your family. In the name of the Most High. Amen.